You want to see my disappearing act?
Oh my goodness. I thought you were going to share them.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is William, the permaculture consultant, and right there is Dad, and right there is Mom, and they're from Permapastures Farm. And we're gonna do a little tour of their food forest down here. So let's get started. Also, if you need any permaculture Q&A questions answered, leave them down below in the comments with the hashtag permaculture Q&A. And also, they're going to be doing a homesteading festival August 29th. You want to tell them more about that?
Yep, 29th through the 31st in Fletcher, North Carolina. Beautiful, beautiful location. It's going to be pretty much as close as you can get to an all-inclusive. It's going to be off the hook.
Say hi, Mom.
Hi.
Also, look at her shirt. Peace pipe. Alrighty, guys. So how old is the food forest, and what were the steps that you guys took in order to get this thing installed?
Well, this one here, from basically flanking the driveway up and down here, this is all we're going to call orchard. And then when we hit down to the corner down there, then it becomes a food forest. So the orchard is in very close proximity. Now, what we started with was a complete mess. We knew we were in trouble when we got here and we saw jugs of dewormer,
Crossbow.
you name it. We just knew, okay, it's a beautiful spot, but there's not some wonderful things going on in the soil. So there was, on each side of this driveway, each side of it, complete, utter disaster of a mess. It really was.
And that was about 4 years ago, right?
Five
years ago?
It was about 5 years. And so the first thing is clear up all the thicket that was everywhere. I mean, we had goldenrod. We didn't have any real grass to speak of. There were no trees here, at least not fruiting trees. And good night, look at it now. I mean, we got this peach absolutely blowing up with everything, but it didn't start this way. So what's important is that if you, and would you disagree, if you respect the soil, it is amazing that every step forward you take towards nature, nature's going to take 10 right back to you. Would you agree?
Yes, because when we got here, they had, I don't even know how many cattle, too many cattle on too little land, and it was bare ground. And the rain, every time we would get rain, it would just wash it all down the driveway and out to
The Mississippi.
yeah. So that's where we started, is essentially a mud pit.
So with all that brush, that overgrown brush and all the thicket and stuff like that, what did you use or what did you enlist to knock out that thicket or that new growth areas?
Yeah, so that's the easy part, is that we basically brought in pigs to do all of the nasty stuff, whether it was multiflora rose, I mean, every
blackberry,
when you see a lot of thorns and stuff on something, it's usually a pretty good indication you're not messing with great soil. So we let the pigs go through here. We ran it down, and then we even made some early videos, William, of course, being part of it, where we were literally pulling out what the pigs didn't get. And so from there, we started with a good bug blend, but we were also, and then we started with trees right off. But instead of feeling as if we had to go ahead, instead of feeling like we had to make sure the soil was absolutely perfect, we didn't do that. We started with some bare root, got them in the ground, put mulch rings that were every bit of a foot high, lots of cardboard, and then we let our allies through the winter do most of that work for us. So then when spring rolled around, then all of a sudden, you know, things were bursting apart.
And you have like plenty of videos on exactly how to properly mulch and take care of your trees. So check out like Permapastures Farm to find out those videos.
Well, prime example is I mulched this tree. This is a Alberta peach. I mulched this not more than a couple of months ago, and if you look at it now, the cardboard's completely gone. That is all compost. If I go down,
you dropped a worm too.
Yeah, if I go down even deeper, it is truly astonishing. I'm looking at fungal hyphae through there that is absolutely astonishing.
So what were the steps you took to actually better the soil? You planted the tree, which is going to release exudates, and that's going to help build soil. But you also did the cardboard and mulch. Was that just around the tree, or did you just cardboard and mulch the whole area?
We eventually cardboard and mulch the entire area, put lots of carbon down. Now, as you can see, the cardboard and obviously the mulch are all MIA. It's taken over by this comfrey, which we leave in very close proximity so we can cut it, chop it, drop it, put it down in that mulch ring. And, so all the other stuff is essentially gone or it's become soil. The only place where we even worry about a mulch ring anymore is right in close proximity to the tree. And what's even better is if you can plant your fertilizer next to it, which is what we do. We got yarrow over here. We got comfrey. Like I said, you name it, we got comfrey everywhere because it's a dynamic accumulator. We can chop it and drop it just like so. Take some, put it down at the base of my productive tree, put a whole mountain of it over there. And then this false indigo, which you see right here, this is, it's absolutely fantastic. The animals can eat it, but our other trees can eat it. So we will chop, this thing will grow up. We'll chop it back, we'll coppice it or pollard it, and then put it around that tree. So we're growing our mulch, our fertilizer, everything right here in very, very close proximity. And then the only thing we really have to worry about after that, you can see this black mark on there, that's called bone sauce. We make that here.
And what is that? And hold on. So tell them the story as to why you have bone sauce.
Yeah, well, the only thing, we were getting decimated so bad by the deer when we first started this, that there was absolutely, positively, we couldn't grow a tree. So I'm thinking, okay, we have got to do something. And you name it, we've tried it. If it was off the shelf at the store, it didn't work. Till finally,
soap. We tried soap,
you name it, hair, none of it worked. Not one bit out there worked off the shelf until I came across a recipe from a genius by the name of Sepp Holzer, and he called it bone salve. Well, I did his recipe, and it was in this area where we first did it. Like I said, everything was a sapling, and the deer would come in every single night and decimate it. And the only way we were able to even get a foothold on this thing, because I didn't even trust it at first, I put wooden stakes next to all the trees and then realized, okay, it seems to be working.
You also put a picture of Hillary Clinton next to the trees too.
I got the video. I got the video to prove it. I'm like, not even Sasquatch is coming around anymore when I put that picture up. But yeah, bone sauce, basically, if it weren't for bone sauce, do you think we would even have a tree here?
Because there was one time the deer were at right down here eating on the trees, and we were up at closer toward the top of the driveway, and we ran down here thinking that they just stood there and kept eating.
You don't have a gun.
What, we got a gun, we just didn't have it, But the bottom line is that I could either sit here and not get any sleep at all, or we could employ. And I'm telling you what, that bone sauce has been a lifesaver for us. So much so that we thought, okay, if it worked this well for us, maybe it'll be this way for other people. So not only did we make it, I made it probably 10 times stronger than the original recipe. There's a lot of proprietary stuff in there, but it took a lot to get to that point. But
so you guys, just so they know, that you have bone sauce and comfrey for sale on the website, and that'll be linked down below.
Yep.
Y'all, it's one of the most helpful tools in your food forest building toolkit. So.
Yeah, we don't do trinkets or anything like that. We sell things that we use that have worked out extremely well for us. So for the people that are very, very serious about growing your own food, whether it be the apple, the peach, the plums, the pears, you name it, the cherries actually.
Well, show them the relationship between some of these trees. Because right now, like on camera, this perspective, I'm behind the camera again. It just looks like one big green mass. It doesn't look like there's order or design behind it. It just looks like threw out some seeds and then called it good. Now that's by design, isn't it?
Absolutely. So what you don't see, I want a food forest, but I'll tell you what else I want. I want a tactical food forest these days. You don't have to look that far in the news headlines to realize the crazy things that are going on. So I don't want trees that are necessarily in lines and rows, like this black locust here. Okay, it's another one of those things that I can chop and drop. It takes atmospheric nitrogen, puts it down in the soil to the benefit of all these productive trees over here. This pear, now they are ugly in their intention to be that way because I don't necessarily, I got a peach over here. I'm sorry, not a peach, but a pear. And it's looking very, very vegetative. It's not necessarily a highly productive pear, but I don't need it to be. It's a food forest. I just need it to produce enough.
Look at these.
And then look,
I just spotted these from a distance. Look at how big these blueberries are.
Yeah. I love that so much. See, right down through here, we got last year we got somewhere in the neighborhood of about 100 gallons in this food forest and it was a byproduct of our ground cover, which just happens to be strawberries. Probably some out here right now.
Well, yeah, we got like over about 100 gallons of strawberries out here.
Just strawberries, and all we needed the strawberries to do was to be a ground cover. Remember, there's 7 layers in the forest, and we're trying to make each one of them edible in every way possible. I mean, look at these for crying out
Sorry, y'all.
loud.
Dad wasn't even on camera for a second. I was harvesting blueberries.
Yeah. So but here's a beautiful thing about a permaculture orchard is that, okay, so the strawberries, we're not going to get 100 gallons this year, but we put enough back. In fact, I would say they were probably overpopulated or pollinated. We're not going to get 100 gallons of strawberries, but you know what we are going to get? Bumper crop of blueberries. We're going to get a bumper crop of raspberries, which are right over there. She's eating them every night and ain't telling me about it.
There's also oregano, thyme, and rosemary planted throughout here. There's a bunch of there's marshmallow, echinacea, and a bunch of other medicinal herbs that you might not be able to pick up on camera.
Elderberry, all kinds of good stuff.
So why did you guys plant invasive species like a black locust in your food forest?
Yeah, so number one, it's going to break out the outline, number one. Number two, when you have a nitrogen fixing tree, it invariably is going to invite in also all of the beneficial insects that are going to protect your productive trees, like this pear over here. Does it look perfect? I mean, I could prune this and make it look fantastic.
But you also have future scions right there, too.
There you go. I mean, there's all kinds of wonderful things I could do there. So what we've tried to do is make every single layer of this thing edible. You want to see my disappearing act?
Oh my goodness. I thought you were going to share them.
All right, so people are going to be asking, should I be trying to plant a food forest or should I plant an orchard? Like, which one works best? Which one is better? Which one should I go with?
Yeah, well, I'm going to give you the answer that everybody hates to hear, and what is it?
That depends.
Yep, it depends. Really, I mean, if you look at it now in a food forest like this, the productivity, I could take you the same exact cultivars in this food forest and go up there and show you some that are in an orchard. You're going to find out that in the orchard, they're way more productive because the trees are more cared for. But in the food forest, I didn't work for it. I just put it in, and then essentially I just kind of go out there and collect whatever's ready.
So therefore the yield is higher.
Absolutely. It's much, much higher by many magnitudes. But it all comes down to what you need. Let's say you have a job to where you just don't have the availability to go out there and be able to look after these trees. You just want to put it in there and then do minimal maintenance, do minimal care, and then come back when the time is right. That might work best for you. That's why I have both. Because this food forest, even though highly productive, especially in terms of blueberries this year, I mean, good night, man. These things, as this thing becomes more and more fungal around here, we're finding out that more things, wonderful things happen, more blueberries, more everything. And at the same time, it just requires less of you. So it can be simply as getting this thing off and running, getting the ball moving, getting everything hopping and popping. But the orchard, I love aspects of both of them, so I have both of them.
So what are some key tips that you would give people that are building their first time orchard or food forest? What are some tips you would give them?
Yeah, right off the bat, don't go too big, don't go too fast.
Say that again, Dad?
Don't go too big, don't go too fast. Start with, like for example, what I got right here. Let's say this pear, okay? So I got a pear, and then I got all around this thing, it's flanked by comfrey. And as I said a moment ago, that's going to be for multiple things. I mean, not the least of which being it's going to help in my mulch ring. But look, in very close proximity, I got a low bush blueberry over here, pretty doggone productive. Got one over here too. And then on opposite sides, and if I didn't want to mess up my aisles here, I could have easily put a nitrogen fixing shrub like sea buckthorn or something else. It could have been in close proximity. And then within here, there's daffodils. Of course, you're not going to see them right now.
It's not the season.
Right. So you're gonna basically stay small. Okay, take this, and then the guild is like the fingers of your hand. If the tree is your thumb, all the other things, nothing supports just one thing, and not one thing supports everything else. They all work synergistically like the fingers and thumb on your hand. And so that's what the comfrey's for. That's what the wood mulch is for. That's what the blueberries are for.
There's garlic too. There's garlic planted in here. Like you can also tailor your guilds to whatever you want. Also,
Rosemary, thyme, and oregano. It's in somewhere pretty close to every tree. So not only is that, you know, something that we can use, it's also medicine for our animals. I mean, you got a sick chicken, what do? You give them rosemary. Just start small, be very intentional, and try to pack as much into that one small space than you do. Instead of worrying about doing all 100 acres, just concentrate on those couple of feet that are around there, because you're going to be way more efficient and it's way more easy to stay on top of it.
Alrighty, so the final question, and this is one I get pretty frequently, is where can I buy decent or good bare root trees for a good price? You guys have any suggestions? Where do you guys like to buy fruit trees?
I go to One Green World, but the first place I try before I try anything else is Etsy, because you can find bare root trees year round. It doesn't have to be in season. There's individual owners out there selling on Etsy.
Yeah, you got some psychos out there too, so be careful where you get. I mean, no, there are times where if you go to some of these seed brokers, man, there ain't no telling what you're getting there.
You're gonna end up accidentally growing weed for them or something like that.
Yeah, so you don't know where. So just Etsy's a really good spot. I mean, we've done a lot of that. A lot of what's in here, some of it, I'm sure, came from Etsy. Another one too is Craigslist, believe it or not. Some of the local places, I mean, those people tend to be a little more honest if they know you know where they live. So, so there's something else to consider there. So, yeah, those are some pretty good spots.
Cool. So don't forget, guys, if you need any questions answered, just leave them down below in the comment section with the hashtag permaculture Q&A at the beginning of it. If you need consultations, hit up the links down below. If you're going to the or check out also the Homestead Festival in August 29th.
29th through the 31st, Homesteaders United.
And go to Permapastures Farm and check them out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you.